Om yo brahmanam vidadhati purvam yo vai vedanscha prahinoti tasmai tamha devamatma buddhi prakasham mumukshurvai sharanamaham prapadye. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Namo Brahmadibhyo Brahma Vidya Sampradaya Kartribhyo Vansharshibhyo Mahadbhyo Namo Gurubhyaha Sarvopaplavarahitaha Prajnanghanaha Pratyagartho Brahmaivahamasmi Brahmaivahamasmi. Om Vedantartha Vibhasakaya Gurave Shantaya Sannyasine Nanavadi Nagendra Sankhapavaye Yogindra Vandyaya Cha Mohadvanta Divakaraya Bhagavatpada Vidham Bibhrate Tasmai Bhashyakrite Namostu Satatam Purnaya Bodhatmane. Om Yasya Nishvasitam Vedaha Yo Vedebhyo Khilan Jagat Nirmame Tamaham Vande Vidyatirthamaheshwaram Vidyatirthamaheshwaram. Idanim koyam margah iti prishtam margam upadishati. The question was, koyam margah, what is this path? This path means the path of the Paramahamsa. The Paramahamsa who is a yogi. So, the one in whom the knowledge has fructified, as well as the mind is also at rest. The resting mind means the mind which now is in this, which is endowed with samadhi. Okay. Such a mind. So, of such a Paramahamsa yogi, what is the path? This was the question, to which Brahmaji, the teacher, Chaturmukha Brahma, responded in saying that this indeed is the path of those great who are a rarity in life. So here is the path that is being praised even by Brahmaji, one of the Trinity, and he, without any hesitation, says, it is such a Paramahamsa who is a rarity because in him I am Paramatma, God is manifest. Though the Tattvajnani also is a jnani, yet because the mind is facing outwards, which means the mind is still cognizing the false world, the world of names and forms, and therefore that mind has yet not been that Paramahamsa, the jnani, just the Tattva jnani, has not been able to break through these names and forms. Though he knows what lies behind the curtain, yet the curtain still is there. It is pulled over the eyes. And therefore, now such a Paramahamsa yogi, who is a rarity, who in fact is God himself, there is no need. Over here it is said now, it means to say that we want to have darshan of God, going to some heaven. Here is God. This is God. Brahmavid Brahmaiva Bhavati. Of such a Paramahamsa, what is the path? It is now said. Asau Swaputra Mitra Kalatra Bandhadim Shikha Yashno Pavite Swadhyayancha Sarvakarmani Sanyasya Ayam Brahmandancha Hitva Kaupinam Dandamachhadanancha Swasharira Lokasyopakararthaya cha parigrahe. Now, Asau Swaputra Mitra Kalatra. Now, there is a long list saying that he renounces all this, having renounced his own relationships, including his own dear children. Swaputra, Putra means son. Now that includes daughters and, everyone. Swaputra, Mitra. Mitra is the circle of friends and relatives. Kalatra. Kalatra means wife. Swaputra, Mitra, Kalatra. Bandhu. Bandhu are people who are either relatives or even people who are ready to help without investing any self-interest. So, Putra, Mitra, Bandhvadi, Hitva, and along with that, what else is given up? Shikha Yajnopavite, the tuft, and the Yajnopavita, the sacred thread. Because without these two, a person cannot qualify himself for doing any Vaidika karma. So now that means that he gives up even that adhikar of his qualification, pronouncing his qualification to do any Vaidika karma. And we all know that any karma will be done under these two conditions. Condition number one is a person should recognize himself as a doer. And this doer wants to do a particular karma because he has a desire for getting what that karma can deliver. Therefore, there have to be these two conditions present. One is the ignorance and the desire. He does not have the desire because the vairagya already is there and the knowledge has destroyed the ignorance. And therefore he gives up. There is nothing that can claim himself, which can make him claim himself as a small little individual, as this individuality, as the ego. Yajnopavite swadhyayancha. Now, once when one recognizes that he is the doer, now immediately he comes under the realm of dharma and adharma, of doing something right and doing something that is not right. Righteousness, dharma and adharma, he will immediately come. And therefore, following the scriptural lifestyle will is the dharma. And in that dharma, one of the immediate first things that will come is swadhyaya, recitation of the Veda every day. Vedo nityamadhiyatam, and then taduditam karma svanushthiyatam. So swadhyayam. Swadhyaya also includes sandhya karma, japa, etc. Sarva karmani sannyasya. Thus he gives up every form of karma. Brahmandam chahitva. For what only karma? He is the one who has given up everything, the entire universe. No claim over anything. Nothing belongs to me, nor do I have any desire to make anything belong to me, because there is nothing other than me which can be claimed and possessed. So therefore, sannyasya, brahmandam chahitva, and then for the empirical reasons, what does he accept? Taupinam, a lion cloth. Just a lion cloth, a cloth to cover the lions, and then dandam, a stick, achadanam, that stick means a staff, a wooden staff. Actually, it is a bamboo staff. And then dandam, achadanam, a cloth to cover himself. Swasharira bhoga. But what is the purpose of holding these few things? Kaupinam, Dandama, Chadanam, at least these three things. Not even Kamandal and everything. So Swasharira Bhogarthaya. Because it is meant for only because that is what the body needs. That is what the body. And Lokasya Upakararthaya. This is only meant just to provide the minimum most what the body needs, and lokasya upakararthaya, for the benefit of the world. Okay, well, and he will explain us that why even accepting a undergarment, which means a lion cloth and a cloth to cover his shoulder or the waist, holding a staff, for what reason? So, lokasya upakarartha, in what way is it going to benefit this world? So we will be, and this is his parigraha. If there is anything that is possessed by the Paramahamsa yogi, it is just this much. Just this much. Not even the claim that he and she is my disciple, these are my people. There's nothing. Therefore, the Ishavasya Upanishad mantra, the very opening mantra says, Om Ishavasya Sarvam Yatkincha Jagatyam Jagat Tena Tyaktena Bhunjitha Magridhakasya Svidhanam. Yatkincha Jagatyam Jagat Tena Tyaktena. Whatever there is in this world, on this earth, is then given up. Tena Tyaktena Bhunjitha. Now that Bhunjitha is not as it has been interpreted by some modern people, that by giving up your claim on everything in this world, enjoy the world. That is not what it means. Is it meant to say that propagating some kind of hedonism, that some enjoy even those things which don't belong to you because you understand they don't belong to you, in spite of that, enjoy at your neighbor's cost? Is that what is? So those people who are, because it appears very attractive, that's why it is a misinterpretation when people do that kind of a thing. Whatever Shankaracharya has written over there seems to be the most logical, is the most logically fitting and pramanikam. Therefore, he says this mantra is about sannyasa. Punchita over there means protect, protect the knowledge. How will the knowledge be protected? Because only in Jivan Mukti, only through sannyasa, the jnana raksha takes place. Therefore, Shankaracharya says that the first mantra of Ishavasya is the mantra about Atmajnanam, followed by sannyasa. But some people, because of their some vested interests and wanting to make things more appealing and kind of things, they misinterpret, and anywhere misinterpretation of the mantra of the Upanishad is a mahapapa. If one really does not understand, one should not attempt. And therefore, though there are several schools of Vedanta, knowing this fact well, none of these teachers, none of these people who have initiated different sects and different schools of Vedanta ever attempted writing a commentary on the Upanishads. They may have written it on Brahma Sutra, they may have written it on the Bhagavad Gita, but other than Shankaracharya, no one has attempted a commentary on the Upanishad. Though there is a claim of one few Upanishads being commented by Ramanuja, but that is not by Sri Ramanujacharya. It is by one of the later followers of Sri Ramanujacharya. His name was Ranga Ramanuja. And he has written, but none of these teachers who were the initiators of different schools of thought, which in fact was Upasana. None of them. That is the reason why one has to be very careful when it comes to the explanation or of an understanding of the Upanishad. Right. So now what happens? That here, Swasharira Upabhogarthaya Lokasya Upakararthaya Cha Parigrahe. Because explaining and understanding Upanishad is not taking a flight of imagination. उत्प्रेक्षाएं नहीं है. उत्प्रेक्षा का अर्थ होता है, उत्प्रेक्षा means an a very appealing imagination which could be conducive, but it is still imagination, and Upanishad over here is going to work only as a pramana. Therefore, we are not waiting to hear it is not an interpretation, it is understanding. To allow the Upanishad, to allow the Shastra to become a pramana is very, very important. That is to be understood. It is not utpreksha. Some utprekshas can be very appealing, some of them can be very abhorrent, but we are not interested in any of the utprekshas. Here we go. Yo grihastha, now look at this. Yo grihastha purva janma sanchita punya punje paripakve sati matra pitradiye Matrapitrajnadina Nimittena Vividisha Sannyasa Rupam Paramahamsa Ashramam Asvikritya. Now, there is some grihastha, which means now he already is in the phase of a householder. He has accepted a wife and he has children, perhaps, so on and so forth. But due to the fructification of some great punyas of the earlier life. And how is that punja? It is not just one punya, some that has fructified, but the punya that he has collected over several lives and that has become a heap of it is a punja. Punja means a heap. And that has fructified as a result of that paripakve sati. It has, it has ripened. Yet, what happened was Matra Pitra Ajnadina, because his mother and father have asked him, they have not given him the permission, or in fact, they have asked him not to leave, but to stay as a grihastha. And therefore, nimittena, this becomes the nimitta. So by that reason, he was qualified for sannyasa, but only because of this, he is not able to, because you require the blessing of your mother and father, even the consent of your wife to take to sannyasa. If you are married, then obviously the consent of wife is required. If you are not married, that is no, no, I want to take sannyas, that's why I'm getting married, so that I can get a permission. This is not the logic. So if you are already married, if one is already a grihastha, then why are you getting married to take sannyas? That is not the thing. Matra pitrajnadina nimittena vividisha sannyasa rupam paramahamsa ashramam asvikritya. So he could have taken to the sannyasa, and by that vividisha sannyasa he could have given himself to Shravana Manana Nididhyasanam. But because now his mother and father have prevented him, because there are these duties, perhaps his mother and father are there who need to be looked after, and their blessing, their consent, their permission is necessary. Okay. Shravanadi sadhanani anusthaya. Now he remains as a grihastha, and then he follows Shravana Manana, etc. Anusthaya. He committedly does that. And then Tattvam Samyak Avagachati. He now is able to comprehend the reality very well. Samyak Avagachati, not just Avagachati, Samyak. Now he has no doubt even regarding this fact that Atma is Brahman. No, he does not even say that in some places Upanishad says Atma is Brahman, some places we don't find that. He has conclusively come to the understanding now that the Upanishads have shown Atma is Brahman. This is what is the meaning of I. No doubt about it. Okay. Now, further what happens? Avagachati tato grihasthasya. What I'm going out of the frame. Okay. Tato grihasthasya praptaihi laukika vaitika vyavahara sahasraihi chitte vikshipte sati vishranti siddhaye vidvat sannyasam chikirshati. Then after, as a grihastha, as a householder, then there are several duties and several things that which become obligatory, mandatory for the person to do. So he will, though he may reduce his transactions to the minimum, just as much as it is required by a grihastha. Now he finds, what does he find? Praptaihi laukika vaidika vyavahara sahasraihi. Now for a grihastha, certain scriptural duties which come as a householder. Now there is your son and daughter, and they have homework to do. The wife is doing something else, and they're there. Then it is your duty, look after them. So now he has Laukika karma also, Vaidika karma, which comes as his duties. Now, because of which, Sahasraihi Chitte Vikshipte Sati. Now, this son is not ready to pay attention. And, now therefore, now the father says that I'm teaching you for last 1 hour, explaining it in different ways. Hey, you are not even ready to pay attention. You are interested only in going and out and playing. So now the father becomes a little angry. So vikshipta, now here is vikshepa because there is some sort of disturbance, or maybe there are other things the father may even say. If my son is not able to understand this way, what are the other ways that I can make him interested, make him understand? And therefore, now his mind is diverted, disturbed in some other direction. Vikshipte sati vishranti siddhaye. Now, we are not just talking about a grihastha who is at this earliest stage. Maybe even after his sons and daughters are married and off on their own, the wife is also now, he has taken care of her, of all that she may require, even in the old age, so on and so on and so forth. Vishranti Siddhaya. Now, what does he want? He has known the truth, Atma is Brahman. And the second thing is, now he wants the mind to be at rest. And we have seen what is the meaning of Vishranta Chitta? Mind which is endowed with Samadhi. Okay. Vishranti Siddhaye Vidvat Sannyasam Chikirishati. He desires sannyasa, which is Vidvat sannyasa. In fact, he was qualified for Vividisha sannyasa. But because of the insistence of his mother and father, he still continues as the grihastha and executes the duties well. And then finally, when he has the consent of his wife, now even his children also understand that yes, he has done everything. He was waiting for this time. Now is the time to say that, Father, you can do what you really desired, and that was to take to sannyasa, to stay absorbed in samadhi. So vidvat sannyasam chikirshati tam prati, to such a grihastha. Now this sannyasa vidhanam is there, which says swaputra mitra kalatra ityadi upadeshaha. This instruction is for that grihastha. Not that because you were for vidvat sannyas, otherwise getting married is essential first, then having children is essential, and then giving up. It is not some sort of Dravidi pranayama. Yeah. They say, you know what is Dravidi pranayama. Now, pranayama, you just do this way. It is easy. Now, there is this fellow who wants to do pranayama. So, holding the nose that way, that is, which means doing simple things in a difficult way. Not for that. For him only, tam prati swaputra mitra ityadi upadesha. But somebody, purvameva vividisha sannyasam kritva, somebody who already has taken to vividisha sannyasa, and then he has followed rigorously, sincerely, shravanam manana nididhyasanam. His sannyasa had no other purpose, but the purpose was shravana manana nididhyasanam. So for such a person, vividisha sannyasam kritva tatvam viditavato, and he is also vidita tattvaha. He is also somebody who has known that tattvam, known the reality, and that R is capital, which means Paramatma. Tatvam viditavato vidvat sannyasam chikirshoho putra kalatradi prasanga bhavat, because there is no question of giving for him. There is now only he has known, he has to give himself only to the practice of samadhi. That is all what is. So the step in between, which was giving up of family ties, etc., encumbrances, is not there. Nanu ayam vidvat sannyasah kim itara sannyasavat praishocharanadi vidyukta prakarena sampadaniya kim va chirna vastro upadrava gramadi gramadi tyadivat gramadi gramadi tyagavat laukika tyagamatra rupaha. This is a new topic. Now we have understood for whom is this Vidvat Sannyasa, that Paramahamsa Marga. And that Marga means giving up all the family ties, your karma, even the Vaidika karma. The Laukika karma means the worldly transactions, the scriptural transactions, all are given up with Shikhaya Jnopavitam. And then here there is a question. He says, Nanu ayam vidvat sannyasa. This vidvat sannyasa, is it exactly like the Vividisha sannyasa, or is there anything different? In Vividisha sannyasa, whilst accepting the Vividisha sannyasa, the person gives up this Shikhaya Jnopavitam through mantras. They are called as the Praisha mantras. Okay. These Praisha mantras, the sannyasi has to chant every day. Praisha mantra, this is one should. Praisha mantrocharanadi vidhi prayukta prakarena sampadaniya. Is it to be accomplished in this way by chanting of those, what do they call? The Praisha mantras, or is it as simple as giving up a worn of cloth or some upadrava? Upadrava means some trouble. Let us say that some insect which has crawled up, or there is some what do they call, a pricky thing in that your cloth. So you just give it up. You're not waiting. What is the muhurta? Should I pray first to Surya and then give it up? No, nothing. Simply just you shirk it off like that. Jirna vastra upadravavat gramadi tyagavat. Or even some people give up the village itself because that village is not conducive. That place, that settlement is not conducive. And so they want to go settle in some other place. Because sometimes even in these advanced countries also people change their place because the school district is closed, or there could be the working place is more accessible, and that's why they give up the old place. And over there now, that giving up is just give it up and go. And gramadivat gramadi tyagavat laukika tyagamatra rupaha. So is it something, this sannyasa, should it be considered should be considered to be taken in a scriptural way, or is it just giving up? Because now what is to be done? He has given up. He goes and sits under a tree, samadhi. Is that what he should do? What? No. Why is that question? Because we are talking about Vidvat Sannyasa first. And it is sannyasa as an institution. We have seen it is not just somebody's whim and fancy. One has to have the adhikara, and the scriptures also have to give the permission. Okay, just because you have a desire, you cannot do anything. It has to be scripturally sanctioned. Then only it can be done. Now, Vidvat Sannyasa, can it be, is it scripturally sanctioned, or is it like some laukika karma, just some worldly things that we do? Just some crawling insect on your shirt, you can just whisk it away like that. Huh. So now the Purva Pakshi says both of these things are not possible. It is not even possible scripturally, not even in the worldly sense. And therefore, Vidvat Sannyas itself is not possible. That we begin from that point, this point now. That Vidvat Sannyasa, the Purva Paksha, the opponent is going to bring up this logic. He says that it is not possible only. Even scripturally, it is not possible. In the worldly sense also, it is not possible. And therefore, there is nothing like Vidvat Sannyasa. That is the opponent's position. All right. So now let us understand why does he say so. Nadyaha. To say that it is scripturally sanctioned, Praisha Mantrocharana Purvaka, that scripturally sanctioned prescribed method, Nadyaha. This is the first option. That itself is not possible. Because, now listen, Tattvavidaha Kartritva Vidhi Nishedha Anadhikara. Now for the Tattvajnani, now he is already he has done the Shravana Manana Nididhyasanam. He knows very well Atma is Brahman, and therefore he is the knower of the reality, Tattvajnani. Now what happens? In such a Tattvajnani, there is no Kartritvam and Bhoktritvam, the idea of doership and experiencership. In whom it is not there, according to the Purva Paksha, it is not there in the Tattvajnani. Remember this is Purva Paksha. Okay, he says in the now the Purva Paksha over here is not an opponent who's not ready to accept Atma is Brahman. Over here, Purva Paksha is one of us who now has accepted Atma is Brahman, and for which there is for the Jivan Mukti there is Vidvat Sannyasa. What he is opposing is only Vidvat Sannyasa. He is not opposing the Brahmatvam of Atma. He is only opposing Vidvat Sannyasa. Now he says this is not possible. The scriptural way of taking to sannyasa, Vidvat Sannyasa, is not possible because he is a Tattvajnani. And in Tattvajnani, there is absence of Kartritvam and Bhoktritvam. Kartritvam means doership, and Bhoktritvam means experiencership. Both of them are absent. And the one who is not a Karta or a Bhokta, where would injunctions, do this, don't do this, would become applicable? And therefore, Anadhikari, Kartritva Rahityena, Vidhi Nisheda, Anadhikara. This is not an area of the Vidhi Nisheda. He does not fall under the purview of the Vidhi Nisheda. Vidhi Nisheda means do's and don'ts. Does not come under that. And therefore, for the scriptures to say, now chant, now do the Praisha mantras, now don't do this, all such things are not applicable to this Tattvajnani. Okay. Ateva smaryate. And he says, this is not what I am saying. Here is the Smriti. Though this particular text, those who do not have this, because Ramakrishna Mission has published this by two translations. One is by Harshananda, and another one is another one. I do not know. I have the Harshananda thing, and they say that it is a Jabala Upanishad Shruti. But when Vidyaranya is very clearly saying Atayeva Smaryate, which means it is a Smriti. Vidyaranya does not want, he is not saying that the shloka he has brought from Jabala Upanishad. Had it to Atayeva Shruyate. But he is saying Atayeva Smaryate. So those people who have given this, written it in the bracket in their editions, they should have taken care of this, the editors. In the other publication, do you have any other reference given over there for this? Anybody has it? Anybody has another book of this from Ramakrishna Mission? ज्ञानामृतेन तृप्तस्य कृतकृत्यस्य योगिनः नैवास्ति किंचित् कर्तव्यम् अस्ति चेन्न स तत्वेत्. So what is that Smriti saying? Look at, they're very interesting. Jnanamritena triptasya, the one who is fulfilled, satiated, the one who is satiated, content with the nectar of knowledge. Now he does not require appreciation from others, approval of others, or getting something, tantalizing to the senses, appeasing to the ego. No such indriya gratification or the ego gratification is like, then how is he gratified? How does he find himself so fulfilled, so satisfied, so content? Jnanamritena, through the nectar of knowledge. What is the amritam over here? Jnanamritam, jnanam eva amritam. Jnanamritena triptasya, he is tripta. Then kritakrityasya yoginaha, he also has discovered what? Kritakrityata. He has found the fulfillment which comes in discovering that there is nothing more to be done. Whatever had to be done is already done. It's done. Nothing more. Kritakrityaha. And he is a yogi. Yoginaha. Naivasti kinchit kartavyam. Therefore, he does not have anything else to do. No, there is naivasti kinchit kartavyam. There is nothing else for him that he needs to do. It is ought to be done. Such thing is not there for him. Naivasti kinchit kartavyam. And therefore, asti chet, if suppose you say that he has something to do, then what will happen? Na sa tattvavit. Then you cannot call him, he is not the knower of reality. He is not the tattvajnani. If there is any, and therefore, if you say that there is something that taking to the Vidvat Sannyasa is through scriptural injunction, which means that with the sense that this should be done. If there is any idea that this is what should be done for him, then he still has the doership, and therefore he does not know the reality. Na satatvavet iti. So now over here the Purva Paksha, which belongs to only Advaiti only, but he says that there is Vidvat Sannyasa, it is not possible, first of all. So it cannot be scriptural. It cannot be Vaidika. Over here. Na dvitiyaha. What is the dvitiyaha? Laukika karmavat. Na dvitiyaha. Okay. Kaupina dandadhyashramalinga vidhana shravanat. It cannot be even said as to be it is laukika karma, like some worldly thing. because in what do they call, in the Vedas, you are not going to have an injunction like that. If there is an what do they call, a insect, some insect crawling up your left shoulder, shirk him off with your right hand. Not special injunction is not there. If there is, just shirk him off and go ahead. Veda need not tell you that. So it is some sort of a laukika karma. Or else in Veda you are not going to find that when you cross the road, look to your left and right and then cross the road. Just find out if there are any vehicles running on the road or not, or wait for the signal and then only cross. This is not what you will find in the Veda. This is laukika karma, worldly activity, and that even if it is worldly activity, the worldly activity will also have its rules. It may not be a scriptural one, but it still will have rules. And there is an understanding that even when you want to shirk that insect off, just just push it away in such a way that it will not be hurt, it will not die, because it also has a right to live. So just shirk it off, wherein he also survives, you are also safe. Worldly, but it has its rules. It need not go into some Vaidika thing. Over here, he says that to say that Vaidika Vidvat Sannyasa is a Laukika karma, like giving up of old clothes, etc. Okay, there's some one thing and you want to give it up, give it up. It is Laukika karma. It cannot be called as a Laukika karma because we find whenever there is a mention of sannyasa, immediately the Veda will come into picture and Veda will give you a method of taking to sannyasa. So because now there is a method in which sannyasa has to be taken, it cannot be called as Laukika karma. Correct? It cannot be called as, therefore, it cannot be called as a scriptural karma. It cannot be even called as a Laukika karma. And therefore, there is a fix. There is a fix. Of how to resolve this problem. Now comes the resolution. It's resolving that problem. Tathahi. Now, tathahi means in spite of all this that you have said, it cannot be scriptural karma because the Tattvajnani does not have kartrutvam and bhoktrutvam. Since there is no kartrutvam present in in that person, he cannot fall under he is not under the, what do they call, the area of do's and don'ts. Therefore, this cannot be scriptural. It cannot be said as to be Laukika karma because with the mention of sannyasa, we come in the Veda that there is a method in which by doing the Praisha mantras, etc., Nandi Mukha Shraddha, etc., has to be done, and then sannyasa can be taken. Therefore, over here to resolve it, now Vidyaranya Swami, this is a little part of the Purva Mimamsa. Okay, so just a little bit. That's why even in the earlier part, where it came to the part of Upasana, I had skipped it in the earlier chapter. Maybe we can do it separately, just an hour or so of that. But understand, this comes as an explanation to resolve the problem, and hence it is necessary here. तथा ही ज्योतिषो में दीक्षितस्य दीक्षांग नियमानुष्ठान काले कंडूयितं हस्तं ह प्रतिषिध्य कृष्ण विषाणा विहिता. Now what happens is ज्योतिषो में दीक्षितस्य, there is one fire ritual, the Vedic fire ritual, which is called as Jyotishtom. It is called as Jyotishtom. Now, before one really does the Jyotishtoma Yajna, that fire ritual, a person has to be initiated. He has to be initiated, Diksha. That is called as Diksha. So he has to take that Diksha. Okay. That initiation. Then, in that period, as he is being initiated, because of some fly or some mosquito or just some itch in the body, he feels like scratching. Now it is said he should not scratch with his hand. He should not scratch with his hand. Oh, but it is. So when it is said he should not scratch, what is the thing? He should not scratch with his hand. Over there. Kanduyitam hastam pratishithya Krishna Vishana Vihita. Then how should he scratch? They say, you know, there's antelopes, black bucks, antelope, black bucks, one form of a deer, which is tall and nice, majestic looking, black in color. It is that black buck. It is called as Krishna Mriga. The male Krishna Mriga has got a horn. And generally, every year, these antelopes, etc., they give up their sorry, they shed their horns. So now it should be, and in those days, it must be in abundance everywhere. So with that horn you can scratch, but not with hands. So it is said only with that Krishna Vishana Vihita. Vishana means the horn. Krishna Vishana is Madhyama Padalopi Samasa. Krishna Mriga Vishana. Okay. Krishna Mriga Vishana Vihita. Yadva. Not Yadva. Yadhi Hastena Kanduyeta Pamanam Bhavukah Prajasyuhu. Now, if a person during that Diksha time does not follow this, that he feels scratchy and then he goes and just scratches with his nails, hands, then the result will be he will have children who will have skin diseases. Okay, he will bear children who will have skin diseases. Then, if suppose he feels little shy at that time and does not scratch, then what will happen? Smayena natna bhavukaha. If he does not out of hesitation, he does not scratch at all. That time, the result will be his children will be shameless and they will roam about naked. Huh? So nagna bhavukaha, his children will not will, they will, we have a lot of beaches in Goa like that, going about. And they will be permanently, then they will live in Goa only. Nagna bhavukaha iti. Krishna Vishana Kanduyate. iti cha, and therefore, how does he scratch? Through Krishna Vishana. Tasyashcha Krishna Vishanayaha. Now, the Krishna, what is the purpose of that Krishna Vishana, of that horn of that antelope? Is only to scratch if you feel scratchy during that time of Diksha. Okay. Then it says, Tasyashcha Krishna Vishana, then the yashna, that Jyotishthoma is done, completed, very well accomplished. And then Saptame Niyam, Samapte Niyame, Samapte Niyame, Samapte Niyame, when that its Niyama is finished, when it is done, Prayojana Bhava. Now there is no purpose in just keeping that Krishna Vishana. Okay, in those days, it was plenty everywhere. These deers used to just roam about everywhere, and the male deers during the shedding time, if it comes, then it will scratch its head, and then it will just like how our hair falls. It will also that his, and then during like for the next year, it will start growing again, new like that. Huh? Prayojana bhava, because there is no purpose of that Krishna Vishana. Oh no, I want to take it home because it is nice. Next time I can use it. And no, you will find it just like that. Prayojana bhavan vodhum ashakyatvat, because it cannot be carried. Why carry it unnecessarily? Vodhum ashakyatvat cha tyagaha swateva praptaha. Therefore, her giving it up is natural. It is swatah prapta tyagaha. It is not something, oh, you have to give it up or anything. It is just there because bodhuma shakyatvat prayojana bhavatva. Two things. And then tam chatyagam saprakaram vedo vidadhati. Now, here, this is the important part of it. Now, how it should be given up. The tyaga is naturally prapta. Swatah prapta tyagaha. Though it is swatah praptaha, but how should it be given up is important, and that is being prescribed, shown by the Veda vidhiyate. Nitasu dakshinasu chatvale Krishna Vishanam prasyati iti. And then whilst going, he should just cast it away in a pit. There is a pit made just near the Yajnashala for giving up of other things. That is Chatwala. In that pit, it should be thrown away. So, though it is that Tyaga is Swatah Prapta, Tyaga is Swatah Prapta. Why is it Swatah Prapta? Prayojana Bhavan Vodum Ashakyatvat. Because it cannot be carried, because it has got no purpose. Huh? Give it up. Like a bus ticket. Why will you just keep it in your wallet unnecessarily? Now you have traveled, done, you have paid for that traveling. But this is the bus ticket. And give it up. It is given up. Swatah praptaha. But how should it be given up? So it is told, don't throw it away on the road. Just we have to be told, that put it in the dustbin so you don't litter it everywhere. So though the tyaga is swatah prapta, yet it is how to give it up is being told. Okay. This is called as pratipatti karma. What is it called? Pratipatti karma. Are we done? Yeah. This is called as pratipatti karma. Now, what is its relationship to the problem that we have expressed? What is the problem? That is Vidvat Sannyasa, renunciation, which is prescribed by the Veda, or is it like any Laukika karma? It cannot be called as a Vaidika karma because the absence adhikara is not there. Then it cannot be even called as a Laukika karma because we find sannyasa being prescribed by scriptures, by the Veda. Therefore, here is the fact. How should it be? Is there Vidvat sannyasa possible? And if it is, Vaidika or Laukika? And here we have a problem. It cannot be even called as Vaidika, Laukika. Now the solution that Vidyaranya Swami is showing is that it is like the Pratipatti karma. Okay, what is that Pratipatti karma? In Jyotishtoma, Homa, we have seen that in that fire ritual called as Jyotishtoma, like the giving up of the Krishna Vishana. Okay, now how does that become applicable in our case and gives us the solution? Let us see when we meet tomorrow morning for Jivan Mukti Viveka further studies. Om Yasya Nishvasitam Veda Yo Vedebhyo Khilan Jagat Nirmame Tamaham Vande Vidyatirtha Maheshwaram Vidyatirtha Maheshwaram. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashakritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murtibheda Vibhagine Vyomavadvyapta Dehaya Dakshina Murtaye Namaha. Thank you all. Today, Indian time, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, which is 4 p.m. Indian time. You can then consider whatever time in your respective places is. Just match this time to Indian time to your local time. We will start the study of Bhagavad Gita from today onwards. So we will meet in the afternoon for Bhagavad Gita thrice every week. Inform you, some of you must have already joined, though the date for registration has been done. And so those who have registered, kindly remind your friends, remind yourself, keep an alarm, and please join. Thank you very much.